Britain among 19 killed in Nepal bus crash. Kim Jong Un reappointed leader of North Korea's ruling party. Trump presses ahead with tariffs despite Supreme Court setback. Iran says ready for talks but will defend itself against US aggression. Good afternoon and welcome to the World in 30 Minutes on Politics and Business Television. I am Omike Joseph Matthew. Many thanks for joining us. Details of these stories and more will come your way right after this break. A 24-year-old British man was among 19 people killed in a tragic bus crash in Nepal, according to the police. The bus, carrying 44 people, including the driver, was traveling from Bukhara to the capital Kathmandu when it lost control in the early hours of Monday and plunged about 200 meters onto the bank of the Trishuli River in Dati district. Authorities confirmed there are 25 other passengers sustained injuries. Nepal police said 9 of the victims have so far been identified, while investigations into the cause of the crash are ongoing. The UK Foreign Office confirmed it is providing assistance to the family of the British national who died. The Chinese embassy in Nepal also indicated that one of its citizens was among the dead, though this has yet to be officially confirmed by local authorities. Police added that a Chinese national and a New Zealander were among the injured, all of whom have been taken to hospitals in Kathmandu. Children were also reported to be among the passengers. Rescue operations involved multiple teams, including police units, the army, and divers deployed to the crash site. Nepal remains a popular destination for international tourists, particularly climbers visiting the Himalayas, home to Mountain Everest and several of the world's highest peaks. Mountaineering continues to be a major source of revenue for the country, contributing millions of dollars annually through climbing fees. North Korea's ruling Workers' Party of Korea has reappointed Kim Jong Un as its general secretary, according to state media. The decision was announced at a party congress in Pyongyang on Sunday, a move widely seen as expected given the Kim family's dynasty rule since the late 1940s. The state-run KCNA reported that under Kim's leadership, the country has radically improved its war deterrence, particularly through the strengthening of its nuclear forces. Despite years of international sanctions, North Korea has continued expanding its nuclear weapons program, frequently testing banned intercontinental ballistic missiles. Kim, who assumed power following the death of his father in 2011, has invested heavily in military development, making Pyongyang an increasingly complex challenge for the West, especially the United States, during the ongoing 9th Party Congress, which began on February 19, the regime is expected to outline the next phase of its weapons program after recently unveiling what it described as nuclear-capable rocket launchers. The Congress, held every 5 years in the past decade, is regarded as North Korea's most significant political gathering, with about 5,000 party members in attendance. It offers rare insight into the country's opaque power structure and policy direction. While Kim remains firmly in control more than half of the 39 presidium, the party's executive committee has reportedly been reshuffled since the last Congress in 2021. In his opening address, Kim pledged to improve the economy and raise living standards, calling them heavy and urgent historic tasks. Attention has also focused on Kim's daughter, Jong Un, who is believed to be around 13 years old and has appeared at several high-profile events alongside her father. Earlier this month, South Korea's intelligence agency suggested she may have been chosen as his successor. Meanwhile, Xi Jinping congratulated Kim on his reappointment, pledging to strengthen ties between China and North Korea. China remains Pyongyang's most important ally and largest trading partner, though Beijing has expressed concerns about North Korea's nuclear ambitions and its growing relationship with Vladimir Putin's Russia. U.S. President Donald Trump's tariff policy hasn't changed, according to his trade representative, despite a recent ruling by the Supreme Court of the United States striking down one of the legal justifications used to impose sweeping tariffs. Tariffs, which are taxes paid by companies importing foreign goods, formed a central part of Trump's trade agenda. The court ruled that Trump overstepped his authority by invoking the International Emergency Economic Powers Act to introduce a broad global tariff program last April. While the ruling invalidated tariffs enacted under ICON term, a complex system of targeted tariffs remain in place. These include duties on specific goods and imports from certain countries, with some exemptions still applicable. In response to the decision, Trump quickly turned to a different legal provision to announce a new 10% tariff on imports from all countries, later increasing it to 15%. The new rate is set to take effect on Tuesday. U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Kira said the reverse tariffs would be roughly equivalent to those previously implemented under IEEPA. However, the new legal authority allows the tariffs to remain in effect for only 150 days unless Congress approves an extension. The administration is also exploring other legal pathways to sustain or expand the tariff framework, underscoring its commitment to maintaining the policy. Trump has consistently argued that tariffs will boost domestic manufacturing, create jobs, and protect national security, citing what he described as an extraordinary and unusual threat posed by the U.S. trade deficit. Critics, however, warn that such measures increase costs for American consumers and disrupt the global economy. A recent analysis by the Federal Reserve Bank of New York found that 90% of the cost from earlier tariffs on goods from Mexico, China, Canada, and the European Union were borne by U.S. companies. As a new round of talks between the United States and Iran is scheduled to take place in Geneva, Tehran has reiterated that it wants to find a diplomatic solution with the U.S. on its nuclear program, but will defend itself if Washington resorts to military action. Iran's Ministry of Foreign Affairs spokesman Ismail Baghei has said on Monday that any U.S. attack, including limited strikes, would be considered an act of aggression that would precipitate a response after U.S. President Donald Trump said he was considering a limited strike on Iran. Trump said on Friday that he was considering a limited strike if Tehran did not reach a deal with the U.S. On Sunday, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian said nuclear talks with the U.S. have produced encouraging signals, but warned that Tehran is prepared for any scenario in advance of another round of negotiations set for Thursday. The two countries concluded a second round of indirect talks in Switzerland on Tuesday under Khomeini mediation against the backdrops of the largest U.S. military buildup in the region since the 2003 Iraq War. They resumed talks in Oman this month. You're still watching The World in 30 Minutes live on Politics and Business Television. Still to come, Gulf countries back Kuwait sovereignty after Iraq draws new boundaries. Do stay with us. You're welcome back. Several Gulf countries have expressed strong support for Kuwait's sovereignty after Iraq submitted new maritime coordinates and an updated map to the United Nations. Kuwait summoned Iraq's charge d'affaires to protest the move, describing it as a violation of its territorial rights. Iraq said the changes were based on the lowest low water line used to define its territorial waters. Kuwait's Ministry of Foreign Affairs stated that Iraq's submission included claims over maritime areas and fixed fixtures such as the Fat al-Qud and Fat al-Ij, insisting that these are not disputed and remain fully under Kuwaiti's control. In response, Qatar, Bahrain, Oman, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates publicly backed Kuwait, affirming their support for its sovereignty. Oman urged Iraq to respect its historic ties with Kuwait and follow international law, while Qatar called for adherence to the 1982 UN Convention on the Law of the Sea. Saudi Arabia also raised concerns, noting that Iraq's new coordinates include parts of the Saudi-Kuwaiti divided zone, where both countries share natural resources under existing agreements. Riyadh rejected any claims that infringe on Kuwait's recognized maritime borders. At least 4 people have been killed in the latest wave of Russian attacks in Ukraine, according to local officials. On the eve of the 4th anniversary of Europe's biggest war since World War II. In the south, 2 people were killed on Monday night when Russian drones hit industrial, energy, and civilian infrastructure in the region of Odessa, Governor Ole Kepa said on the Telegram messaging app. Kepa stated that the attack also damaged production and warehouse facilities, administrative buildings, car dealership premises, and vehicles. One drone also hits an apartment in a multi-story building without detonating. Psychologists from the State Emergency Service provided assistance to residents. Kepa added that the fires that broke out were extinguished by rescuers with emergency and municipal services working at the scene. In the southeast